Happy New Year. It's hard to believe that a year has passed and another year has come. But the sense of joy being connected now in these opening days of a new year, a new chapter in our lives as individuals, our nation, our congregation, and the world. To greet this moment with you, my Temple Israel family, as together we take our steps forward. But what should these steps be filled with? Should it be caution? Should it be fear? Should it be anxiety? This year begins as the other two ended. Our Torah portion for this Shabbat bow, which also is the opening weeks of the second book of the Torah, Exodus, tells us what message to carry with us, what expectations, how our hearts should be in terms of ourselves and in terms of others. Yes, this has been a daunting time. There's no question about it. But it's not the first in our history. Let us look back 3 millennia to the plight of the Israelites, indeed the world, in servitude to Egypt. They were difficult, uncertain times, times of profound concern, moments we questioned, will we have our future? And if we do, what will it be? And so the Torah tells Moses, Bo el Paro, go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go. And Moses does that. It took courage. It took commitment. But he did it nonetheless. And as a result, we are here today. And so we must go and meet each of our days with hope that tomorrow will be better than today, that this year will be better than the last. Committed to do that which is necessary to address the issues of the moment. One of the plagues that falls upon Egypt is that of darkness. And the Torah tells us that it was a darkness that one could really feel. That's how deep and thick it was. What could that mean? We know when it comes to our senses, darkness affects the eyes of what we see, not what we feel. And so the rabbis tell us that it pertained to the way the Egyptians viewed others, viewed even their neighbors with a lack of concern, a lack of compassion, a lack of caring for the other. And so too in this new year, there is a darkness we must address, not simply that of COVID-19 and its various manifestations, but also the way we relate to one another. If anything, this plague of our day, this 11th plague of Egypt, COVID-19, taught us and showed us what happens to one person anywhere affects all people everywhere. No one is spared. Everyone is open and vulnerable. And therefore, together, we must find a way to ensure the health and happiness, the survival of our neighbor. So that's the first lesson to take into this new year. Lesson the Israelites learned 3,300 years ago. That what happens to one affects all. And so we must address the question of fear, strengthening one another. We have a lot to be hopeful for, a lot to be thankful for. We must share our good fortunes with our neighbors. And by neighbors, I don't mean the person that lives next door to us or looks like us or prays in our sanctuary. We are all neighbors one to the other. Make sure they have the wherewithal, the courage, the strength, the abilities to see past this moment of darkness into a new time of light, of hope, of beauty and joy. And walking into this new year, not as individuals per se, but as members of sacred families, our own individual families, our temple family, the family we call the human race. We see we need not be alone. We must be able to see and feel the joy that others bring into our lives, a sense of hope our faith uplifts us with, a sense of mission to share in, giving added purpose. That together we will go through this time and enter a new time of goodness, of joy, of happiness, when none shall make us afraid. Yes, this is a new year. And as we read on the high holy days, it is a time for choices. In many ways, we are in control of our own fate. The Torah tells us, Bacharta b'chayim, melech hafetz b'chayim. Choose life. The king, the master, the queen of the world and the universe. Adonai, delights in life. So together, as members of our Temple Israel family, let us bring light into our lives. Let us enrich our lives walking hand in hand with each other and with God. And in this time of new beginnings, a time filled with holidays and celebrations, as we celebrate the life's work and legacy of Dr. King, let us take his message to heart. Uplift one another. Care for one another. Celebrate our lives in his memory and his message, a message of the prophets, and be a source of light and goodness. Illuminate the paths before us, and then truly we shall overcome. Looking forward to seeing you in the temple on January 14th, 6:30 p.m. for our annual Interfaith MLK commemoration. This year, our guest preacher is the Reverend Victor Hall, senior minister of the Calvary Baptist Church in Jamaica, Queens, one of the leading preachers and teachers of our day. Let us join together in the spirit that Dr. King used to transform the world, marching together hand in hand with appreciation for today and the strength collectively to shape for the better our tomorrows. Happy New Year. God bless you.